let us play, or pray. The play, no, that's right. That's the name of the sermon. Let us play. You know, when I was a kid, no one had to tell me to play. Well, there were a few times when we'd get in my mother's hair, she said, "You kids go outside and play." But generally, we played all the time, spontaneously, enthusiastically, perpetually. If there was anything I had to be told to do, it was to work. Kenny, mow the lawn, clean your room, take out the garbage. But ironically, as I grew into adulthood, it became more difficult to play and easier to work. It now seems that I have difficulty sometimes playing at all. You see, I'm the kind of person that tends to want to be productive all the time, even while I'm playing. I often am preoccupied with maximizing my playtime, getting the most bang for my buck, improving my game, improving my body, being better than the next guy. And I'm finding it's often not easy just to get lost in play. I'm glad we have someone one of our scholarship recipients that knows how to play and work and play, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's often not easy, and I know some of you men who look forward all these years to retirement so you could just go out and play are finding that it's not that easy. You have to retrain yourself to learn how to play. But it seems to me the reason children love to play is simply that they enjoy it so much. In fact, I've discovered that the key not only to play, but to work is enjoyment. The people who seem to be the most successful and productive at their work are those who enjoy their work so much they hardly seem to be working at all. There's a famous piece of liturgy, a doctrinal statement called the Westminster Shorter Catechism. I know we have a few Presbyterians here. You may have recited this yourself at some point in worship. It was written in the 16th century during the Protestant Reformation. It was used to instruct laypersons on matter of doctrine and belief. And its first and most basic question is this: what is the chief end of man? Of course, now we would say, what is the chief end of humanity? But you get the point. What is the chief end of man? And the answer is this: the chief end of man is to worship God and enjoy Him forever. I thought that was kind of a strange response coming from a bunch of precise, puritanical, tight-haloed 16th century theologians. But I think they knew something. They understood something. That human beings were created for an enjoyable, life-giving relationship with their Creator. Without enjoyment in the mix, religion would become sterile, obligatory, and deadening. Now, there's a biblical verse which is rather interesting, which I just touched on a few months ago, and it comes from the book of Ecclesiasticus. Not Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus, which is a non-canonical book. It's only in the Catholic Bible, and it's a book of wisdom literature. And in a section that refers to wisdom and contemplation and prayer comes this verse: return home quickly and gather yourself there and play there and pursue your thoughts. Now, the writer is speaking metaphorically, of course, when he says return home quickly. What he means is return to your deep inner self. Return to your center. Return to your own heart. And gather your thoughts there and play there. The writer is really talking about tending one's inner life, tending the fire of one's own soul, to gather ourselves, To gather yourself is simply to draw together with your whole intention, to return from external things to your own mind and heart before you get overwhelmed with anxiety and distraction. It's a call to deep centering prayer, to the contemplative life. But in this translation anyway, the word play is used in connection with this deep prayer. Return home, return to yourself, and play there. Now, one translation has it to return to your inner self and pursue your pastime there, or linger there. It's the same idea. This exercise of deep contemplation and prayer should be as natural and spontaneous as child's play. In fact, the great Catholic theologian Thomas Aquinas, in his writings, compares play to contemplation and meditation. And it makes sense. Playing has no value in itself other than just what it is. It has value in itself. It has no real value outside of itself. Play doesn't accomplish anything, and really neither does contemplation or deep prayer. The purpose of deep contemplative prayer is not to change something or get something that we don't have. It has value in itself for its own sake. It's like life. Life should have value for its own sake, and so should contemplation. So we see the analogy between play and contemplation as it makes sense. Now, I've come to believe that without a consistent life of prayer and contemplation, it's almost impossible for us to find emotional and spiritual and psychological balance. It's almost impossible. Being a human being without prayer is like being a child without play. Have you ever known a parent that prohibits their child from playing? They want them to grow up so fast and achieve so much that they don't allow them to play. The child ends up being incomplete, and the childhood is dysfunctional and truncated. So, a healthy, holistic, fulfilled, and peace-filled life has to involve this dimension. But the question is, why is it so difficult for us to give attention to this part of our lives? And I think I have the answer.